I was just thinking about the different people I just attacked because of whether they was really light skinned or they were brown skinned people didn't get enough. I had to talk about their teeth or something like that. But
Yo, what's up? I am OMEHGA, and this is Diverse Clarity. This is where we have those thought-provoking conversations about things that matter and some that don't. And of course, as always, I'm here with my man, my co-host, Mr. John D.
What up, though, young man?
What's
happening? You know what? I can tell you, I got some stuff for
Here
you.
we go. I didn't even get to ask if you got anything.
I know.
What if I want to skip over that this episode?
You can't.
What if I just want to go with the introduction?
Because I had something different to share.
Good
And you know,
God.
you've been on my head about saying the same thing. I was going to tell you some new stuff. You know, I feel like the last episode when I told you somebody died.
Oh, I feel so bad.
So
I do.
So my uncle just passed this past week.
Are you serious?
I am. But I wasn't going to talk about that. I thought it was right on time to show you how it could be. But I did have some different stuff. But my uncle did pass. But he's in a better place, for sure. I'm more so worried about my auntie. She wasn't taking care of him because he was in a home that could help people out. Like he may have been going senile. But my uncle was living with her and he left now. So she's by herself. So it's like, I hope my mother moves with her because they love each other or whatnot. And I was like, it'll take off some stress on me because I really feel like I need to somehow take care of my mother. Right. But this will buy me some time if she can do that while I try to straighten out the other things that I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a smile on your face, man.
Because
I'm sorry to hear about your uncle.
Oh yeah. Okay. So look. I appreciate death at times. Like last week was a little different because we the same age, and like I went to his wedding, so it was a lot different. Like I know this is my uncle, but I know what was going on the last few years. You know what I'm saying? So now I know my aunt. She could be a little bit more at peace. You know, and even their son knew what the father had turned into. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, you know, he would, yeah. So it was the best thing. But I wanted to tell you that, so my life, I told you I've been continuously working, right? Right. And I've been getting symbols that pop up throughout, like numbers that stick
like
out.
messages, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you know, like number 2, but it'll be like 222. I'll catch it almost like very often. Like even playing games, it'll get 222 points. Right. And I was thinking, what could I do to incorporate that in my life? So every time I see a symbol, I have to do an exercise for that day or I have to write. So let's say I look at my phone and it says 11:22. Okay. That's a symbol for me. Okay. So that means I have to write in my notebook either something that I want to do in the future or what I'm working on to get there or my feelings, how I'm feeling at that particular moment. Okay. So it's just get me in the habit of continuously writing because I'm a horrible writer. But it's allowing me to learn how to become a better communicator in that way. Okay. And if I'm tired of writing, like today was curls. So every time I saw a symbol, so I've done like maybe 84 curls today, like throughout the.
So how many curls do you do
12
per symbol?
12 at a time.
No matter what you see.
Correct.
Okay.
So yesterday
12 in both arms.
Both arms, yeah.
Okay.
So yesterday I did sit-ups, and the day before that was jumping jacks, and the day before that was push-ups. Tomorrow I'm trying to figure out what I can do, but at the end of the day, I'm telling you this because I realize I don't want any idle time. Like, so if I can see something and I believe in it, I'm like, well, why don't you work on something? Right. And those are the 2 things that I've incorporated in my life to get us to where we're trying to get to.
Ladies and gentlemen, self-motivation right here. Yeah. You heard it here first. Diverse Clarity.
Yeah. So how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I've been the last week. I started giving my girl swimming lessons.
She can't swim?
So nah, she can swim now because
she swim. She could. Hold on. So before you started giving her lessons, if you threw her in the water, would she die?
Nah, she ain't gonna die.
Okay, so she could swim. She wasn't good.
She could hold her breath. She could.
Holding your breath ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it does, because when you go under the water, you
don't have to go under the water.
Well, if you throw her in, odds are she's going under.
Depends on how deep it is. A lot of people die in feet.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can die in an inch of water.
I'm talking about people will die if they just stand up, but they're panicking. Like people die if they didn't panic and they just put their feet on the ground.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I laugh because that happened to me one time when I was young. When I was young.
Oh, it wasn't like you choking on your saliva.
Wow. Why we got to talk about
we talking about water and drowning? I thought it was the same thing.
But anyway, but she she's doing well. Like it's only been 2 lessons so far. So like the deal is like she could, she can float a little bit, right? She can hold her breath, but like for a good amount of time, which is good. And she's not afraid of the water. Those are all 3 wonderful things to start out.
Definitely.
When you know what I mean? But what we were just working on was obviously like movement, like swimming underwater, because that's usually like the easiest way to get somebody acclimated or whatever. So swimming underwater, being able to like, hold your breath or whatever, and starting with the freestyle stroke, which she was actually doing pretty well. So I mean, that was like something that was going on. And
so was she as bad as you said, or are you just a great teacher?
I'm a great teacher. I'm pretty sure she would attest to that.
No doubt.
I'm a great teacher. Like I remember when I taught my son didn't know how to swim, and I taught him in one day. He was swimming strokes. I got video of this, and it was the initial video was him jumping in and he wasn't afraid of the water at all. But he didn't know how to swim. Yeah. As in jump in the water, catch your stroke, get to the other side, turn around, come. Like he didn't know how to do any of that. In one day he was doing it. And I think we was at the pool like all day. Like he did not want to leave.
You're so undervalued. You're so undervalued.
I don't think so.
You bring so many things to the table. Teaching people to swim in a day.
You trying to learn how to swim? What are you doing?
I'm nice. I'm nice at swimming. I
wanted
to go to the Olympics in elementary. I did. I wanted to go.
Really?
I promise to God.
Okay. You were good enough to.
I wanted to go.
Oh.
So, it was like one of those NBA things.
Like the camps or whatever. Like
I just in my neighborhood pool.
Oh, you mean like the idea, like the dream that you had?
Yeah,
NBA thing. You mean like that?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Gotcha. I thought you meant like an NBA thing, like the NBA camps.
Oh, no,
like
no.
The Kwame Brown camp, like whatever. So,
you stupid.
I'm just saying, man. So yeah, but that's it, man. Just like relaxing, and then obviously working on this and a lot of the things that are ahead for us here. So sure. I don't know, reading a little bit about stocks. Or not stock, but the cryptocurrency. So I'm not even gonna get into that because I don't want people being like, oh well, I heard it on Diverse Clarity. Like I'm not a financial advisor. Like I'm not trying to get caught up in it. Had to put like a disclaimer down in the bottom or something. But
you made me lose my house
for real. Like, but I've been reading about that a lot, just trying to understand it or whatever. So not so much playing, but just trying to understand the game and everything that's happening. So that's been about it for me, man. But for this one, I wanted to based off last episode, like we started to lean into colorism at the end.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to pick back up kind of like a part 2, if you will, or continuation, however. But I wanted to ask you, do you know what the brown paper bag test is?
Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
To my knowledge, it's if you were lighter than a paper bag, you passed. If you were darker than a paper bag, you didn't pass. So it was like you didn't have certain privileges because of your skin tone.
Right. So, but that was the thing. So like when I think about, and that was my first understanding, but I didn't really understand this whole thing about like colorism, right? Mm-hmm. So it was like obviously learning about like the history and all of this. But then like fast forward into the world, when I looked at me traveling and me living in other countries, especially Asian countries, I noticed that like when we were younger, you used to hear these phrases, these catchphrases related to like race. and like they'll be like white is right or whatever. That's kind of a big deal across the globe.
Oh, I know,
bro. What about this skin whitening?
That's what it's in the stores here.
Bro, the cream, the lotion, they have injections.
Have you seen the baseball player who hit all those home runs? I know his name. I just kind of Sammy Sosa.
Well, no.
You know who Sammy Sosa?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
white.
Dominican, I think, ain't he? He was dark skinned. What is he?
Look him up.
It's worth it. Ain't he Dominican?
Just type in Sammy Sosa.
What, he's changed? He did the bleach?
I don't know what occurred, but he
Revitiligo or whatever.
No. He definitely doesn't have vitiligo. He definitely changed his skin tone.
Oh no, I was making fun of it from the Boondocks when what's his name? Uncle Ruckus was he said he had the reverse. The reverse.
He did say that.
Revitiligo.
Oh my God, you are gonna blow. Look, check this
Really?
out. Prepare for the most look.
Because he was fairly dark skinned.
No.
Sammy Sosa.
Go to images.
Sammy Sosa was what? Whoa.
No, that's not even screen. It's not photoshopped or nothing. Those are real pictures. Dog, he's fooling, ain't he? Tell me that is not what you talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking. Oh my God.
Dog, and you know what I'm thinking in my head? Like, what does your self-esteem look like to want to do that to your skin?
Bruh.
I thought he was a handsome dude before. Now he looks like a ghost. He looked like a white face, a black face. Like, you know how?
That's disturbing, man.
Man, completely.
That's disturbing. I had no idea.
Yeah, that hurt my feelings.
But with this the skin whitening stuff, right? Like, dang, this Sammy Sosa, this is
Mind blowing.
Bruh.
But you know, colorism is big in Dominican Republic too.
It's big all over the world. Like, seriously, bro. But like that's what I want to talk about. I want to go into it a little bit. But with the skin cream, right? Mm-hmm. I was watching this thing. I think it was on CBC, and they were doing like an investigation, and they were talking about, like you said, you see it in the stores and stuff, right? And they were doing this investigation, and they went and they collected CBC Canada Broadcasting. I don't know, but CBC is like a news, whatever,
Gotcha.
like NBC, right? Canada. But they were collecting all of these different whitening creams and lotions and whatever, and then bringing them back, and they took them to a lab, I think in the UK, yeah, and they had them tested, and they were coming back finding that there was like steroids. There was this thing inside. It's called. I got to look at it because I don't know the hydroquinone or something like this. But it's like it's linked to cancer, but it wasn't being shown as one of the ingredients in the thing. And they were also saying that it can cause ochronosis or something like that, which is like it turns the skin a bluish or grayish color. And bruh, I was like, it's crazy. And for the record, and I don't care if people get mad, like those who are listening, I wrote this because I wanted to put it out there. There was a brand of this cream. It's called Fair and Lovely. Okay. It's owned by this company called Unilever. Okay. Unilever also owns Dove.
Stop it.
Yes. So fairly, and here's the thing. So you got Dove that has this promotion about how they do, for the skin and the nourishment and all of these
Dove.
things, right? So you got Unilever at the top that owns Fair and Lovely that also owns Dove. Fair and Lovely, they're promoting the skin whitening and this, and some of the commercials were sickening, bro, like that I saw. And so it's like this, but then on the other side you got Dove, and we know what Dove is, and it's like, wait a minute, what's really going on? And another one that I know it's called Nivea.
Really?
Right? Yeah, Nivea has it. So there's Nivea that is what we know like on our side of the world, but then on this side of the world and in other countries in this region is one called Nivea Natural Fairness. And the commercial for this one was the one, I was on YouTube looking. The commercial for this one was like one of the worst because you've got Nivea, which is the same company, and then you got Nivea Natural Fairness. And on the Nivea side, they're promoting, you know, your skin, your health, and all of these things. But this other part, the natural fairness. You know what I'm saying? So they're making it like it's not natural to have darker skin. Use this whitening stuff to maintain or to achieve your fairness the way that it's supposed to be. And if you see the way the commercial is, you would understand what I'm talking about. But it's sickening. But I want to know, like, what do you think about this? Like, do you think that this whole colorism thing is like is something that people should be into? Do you think, have you run into anybody that is caught up in this? Like, I mean, what's your view on it? Because it seems like this is what people are trying to use like as the fix, right? Like you just like showed me about the Sammy Sosa, right? So I'm gonna make sure I put that on the screen, so we'll pop that up. But the Sammy Sosa, this is like Michael Jackson when people were talking about Mike, and
but they
like,
said he had a skin disease. Now it kind of makes you think like.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the brother is no longer here, but I mean, just in comparison, it's like, I mean, because they used to make the joke about him, right? He used to be a young black boy, now he died an old white woman. So it's like, you know, whatever. But I mean, but how did what? Come on, man. You ever heard that before?
Yes, but you said it out loud.
Oh, my bad. Was I not supposed to?
No, it's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
It is what it is, man. But I mean, but what are your thoughts on this? Like,
so I have had so I used to smoke shisha all the time. I used to go to Ethiopian cafes.
Right.
Do you know that some of the darker ones, they was like, oh, this is so ugly. And I'm like, what do you mean? It was like, I need to get the cream so I can be lighter. I'm like, why would you do that? It was like, because it's better when it's lighter. And I was like, who told you this? And I told my wife, she said, you need to take me to all of them women and you tell them that they're beautiful. Their skin tone is beautiful. Like, why do they believe that white is right? But you only know what you know. So if that's what you see in somebody that you respect is doing it, you change your perspective. Like, what am I doing wrong? Unless you have somebody in your life that tells you that you're beautiful all the time. But like you said, the idea of getting light. When you said fair and lovely, you know what I think of? Dark and lovely. The black brand for the hair. Yeah. And I'm like, they called it fair and love. Ain't that a...
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't... I didn't realize... Like, I knew it was serious, but just listening to you say things, I was like, it's more of a distraction than I thought. It's so much of a distraction that people are willing to change their skin tone to assimilate into what society?
And that's perfect, because that's exactly what made me, that was the questions that I had. And so like, it was when I'm looking at this, right? And I was looking into it, it's like realizing, I mean, we know that colorism is in the US. We know this because we're American, right? We know we're affected by it. I mean, it even goes back to, and when we talked about trauma before, right? I'm making a point. When we talked about trauma before, it's like, it's bad when the people don't even realize that you are not just a subject, but you have been truly affected by the trauma. What is one of the most famous things when it comes to comedy and black people related to color that you can think of? Comedy and black people related to color.
Darkness, everybody.
Your mama jokes. Your mama's so black.
Yeah.
Your mama so black. Your mama so black. Your mama so black. Right?
Yeah, you look.
But
that was yes, and we participated in that.
Like it was crazy. And I saw this story before, like long time ago, right? And the story, it was like the kids were in the classroom, and they're snapping, right? We jonesing. So not we, but the kids. But the kids are jonesing, and they're back and forth. Oh, your mama so black. Oh, she jump in hot water and it turned into coffee or whatever, right? They going back and forth. Like, it's all this crazy, but just whatever, right? It's crazy stuff. And so they're snapping back and forth. And then the teacher jumps in and they're like, oh, come on. A black teacher. And it says, they're like, oh, your turn. And the teacher says, okay, your mama's so black. And all the kids is like waiting. They're like, okay, come on, Mr. So-and-so. Like, what you got? He's like, that's it. Your mama's so black, she made you. That's it. You're beautiful as you are. Your mother's black, and so are you. There's no punchline. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's not, that's not funny. That's not funny. But it's not supposed to be right. It's not supposed to be funny. your mother's blackness is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Your mother's blackness made you the way that you are. And when you talk about like what kind of society are we talking about, right? It's the society that's been placed in front of us. Countries like Brazil, South Africa, America, various places in the Middle East. Look, after apartheid, right? And this is like for the people out there, like apartheid was a part of South Africa's government, and it was what was put in the law, so it basically made it illegal for
interracial relationship.
Well, for that's because they look at it differently over there. So it's like basically made it illegal for Black Africans to be with colored people because there is a difference.
Correct.
And so as far as the difference in what they view, right? And so from our side in America, when we hear the word colored, right? Colored is looking at any of us.
Yeah, just old school terminology.
And the old joke used to be, if you got a drop of black in you, then you black.
Yeah.
That's it, right? But in South Africa, it's different, right? In South Africa, there's Black African, there's Asian, there's Indian, there's colored. And in that colored, there's like this rainbow of your distinction based on your exact color.
Yeah.
Do you know in Brazil, they have it where when they do the census for the people, when they go around and they're looking at the information, right? As far as like they come and knock on your door, or they look at your voter's registration or your taxes that you pay or whatever the case is, right? When they look at this information, they'll come to you, and I might have these terms wrong, but they'll come to you and they're like, okay, Mr. John, they're looking at your skin, like you are mulatto. You are, whatever. They actually have, you know how we say black, white, Asian? Yeah. They have yellow.
That's Asian though.
No, see, that's what we, and when you look at it from the American side, that's why I was like, yo, that's crazy because yellow is looked like as derogatory towards Asian people, right? Just like red towards Native Americans, the Aboriginal, right? So it's like, but there, it's literally a part of the census. Oh. Yeah, so it's like the colorism is real, bruh. So like, and that's another thing where it's confusing globally because when people look at it and they say, I've been many places, and people say, oh, where are you from? I'm American, like, no, but where are you, where are you from, right? But where are you from? Like, are you from Africa? Are you from this or that? Like, no, I'm African American, but I'm black. And they're like, you're not black. I'm like, yeah, I am. Because we look at black as the color versus nationality or race or whatever the case. The rest of the world, I ain't gonna say the rest of the world, but a lot of the world doesn't see it that way. Yeah. So is this anything that you dealt with or come across? Or like, what's your thoughts? Did you know any of this? Because when we're talking about colorism and you said like, what kind of society is this coming from? That's the society. That's what it is. And for example, one more thing. So like when we talk about like Brazil, for example, right? So you know how like in America we have where it's you want to go to college and you or looking for a job. We're talking about affirmative action. You're going to college, you're looking at certain grants because of the color of your skin, right? It's the same thing in Brazil, but based on all these different colors of the people.
So what is the go-to? What do you want to be?
That's just about to say that. So that's funny. I was just about to say that. So like what I was saying is like it comes to a point where it's like now a lot of people are trying to say black. And if you're paying attention to the music, and you look at like the Dominicans, the Cubans, like you got a lot of people that'll say they're Afro-Latino or Afro-Latina, right? Because now, before you speak to a Dominican and ask them if they're black, no. That's like trying to tell an Egyptian or Tunisian or Nigerian or Moroccan that they're African. Like, no, I'm not. I'm Egyptian. No, I'm Tunisian. I'm not African. I don't look like them.
I do know people that said that they're African though. They said those people are stupid, Mr. John.
Okay, but we do know that it's not like it's an urban legend. Yeah, right. It's not an urban legend. This is real.
It's everyday news.
Right. So it is one of those things. But the go-to, as you were saying, is black now.
Yeah.
Because with the black comes the benefits.
Yeah, that's why I told people the paradigm shift has changed so much. American black has made it fashionable to be black now.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And you know what's so crazy? I was thinking when I was younger, I talked about dark-skinned people all the time, right?
Right.
But that was because I was Korean, so I had to get them how I could get them.
Right.
And I used to think like how hard it's got to be because they're going to be black and everybody's going to talk about them because you just hear it.
What you mean? Everybody's going to be back. What you mean?
Like dark-skinned people, they're not going to get lighter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so if people are constantly talking about it, I'm like, what is, and you remember in the 90s when it was like light skinned dudes is out, it's all about dark skin now.
Yeah.
Like Albie Shore is gone.
Yeah.
Like,
y'all faded out.
Yeah. So it's so crazy that it was within our own community.
Right.
But I think ultimately people didn't want to be dark because we were treated unfairly. Like, I told you I'm Wesley Snipes.
Because we were treated unfairly or because of, does it have to do with what the media put out?
No, I'm talking about way before. Like,
Okay.
Just watching movies or hearing stories, like you would want your kids to be lighter because they would be messed with less by white people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean that even, I'm sure it happened before, but that even goes back to slavery.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
usually the house.
Oh yeah, they all light skinned.
Light skinned because hey, you're not gonna scare the guests that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of look a little bit like us, and they probably look like you because the master made you. He went out there and now you're 16. Come on inside and serve this tea and coffee.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. But yeah, exactly. Right.
Because
Facts.
with the information that we have now, that's why it's disturbing to see Sammy Sosa. And to see people in Africa that once lighter skin, but I understand now. I do understand.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. I was going to say, because that reference to South Africa, that wasn't about people wanting lighter skin.
No, I'm talking about Ethiopians.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like,
fair.
Because they feel like they get treated differently. They'll have more opportunities because if they knew that their skin tone didn't matter, they wouldn't care.
Right.
So something changed their mindset that said, oh, I have to change. I don't want to live like this anymore.
I think America helped with that.
Oh, definitely.
I think America helped with that because, I mean, whether people like it or not, like America is this polarizing nation that affects the whole world.
The propaganda machine.
It affects the whole world. And when you see these pretty light-skinned women with these eyes, and I'm only using the word pretty because this is how they're portrayed in society. Okay, so please, I don't want no DMs. I'm gonna come back at you. So, but these pretty light-skinned women, the hair of a certain texture, eyes of a certain color, body that looks like this or whatever, from a certain region or from a nation, whatever the case. So this is what's put out as the beauty mark.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see this on, I don't even want to name magazines, but when you see this on these fashion magazines and these so-called beauty magazines, right, this kind of thing, this is what people see. It was no different than back in the day, and I mean, off a little bit back in the day when MTV finally got to another country, or somebody happened to get a VHS that had some music videos on it from MTV or whatever, and then people were listening to that because they didn't have cable, but they had a VCR, and they pop it in, and they're watching the same videos over and over again until they can get another VHS. I've heard plenty of stories like that. It's the same thing with these magazines. It might be a year old or 2 years old, but this is what they see. They will see like a Halle Berry. You know what I mean? And this is the label of what beauty is.
We used to date.
Shut up. I'm done. That's the end of this episode.
She said it was. She said I was too young.
What?
I was like 12.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She came to Louisville because David Justice played for the Louisville Redbirds, and I knew she was in the city, and I just knew she was gonna find me. So we were dating.
I'm scared that you lying with a straight face. Oh, okay, now you're laughing.
I said I was 12.
This dude.
No, but you made some valid points on what's going on around the world, but I want to hear your perspective on you growing up, like outside of you getting more information. How did you grow up with colorism in your life? Because people of color had to deal with it to some magnitude.
Yeah, I was numb to it. I have an aunt that my nickname was Redbone. To this day, if she sees me.
But was that ever negative growing up?
Okay. Her saying it obviously was not negative. It was a peek into my skin tone, my skin color, or whatever, being light skinned, turning red at the drop of a hat, whatever. Red bone. That's it. And then, I was born in South Carolina, so there you got red bone. We call them red bone geechees, right? And if somebody was light skinned, they may call them yellow bone or whatever, or yellow gals, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we saw this, but this is a part of what I'm talking about where I'm like, we didn't even realize what was happening right in front of our eyes. Because I never ever thought of that as something that was negative. Yeah. I still don't think of it as something negative because I understand the intent by those that love me, right? Definitely. That gave me those nicknames. But when I look deeper and be like, where did that come from? That's the part. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's the piece of it. Where
it's just like the N-word.
No, it's not.
No. I'm talking about the essence of being used where it's not as
coming
offensive.
From a place of love.
Correct.
Right, in that. But the history is a bit different.
Well,
so I think it's a harder it's a more harsh comparison because
I'm just saying, like, depending on how you learn it, it may not be as offensive until you get more information. You're like, oh man.
Right.
Because I was a bruised banana. I was black, but I was yellow on the inside.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
They used to say this to you?
Oh, look, check this out.
Wow.
I was like, my kids are super sensitive, right?
Okay.
And I had to realize they're sensitive because we've allotted them an opportunity to be around kids that had some stability in their life where it wasn't being talked about was like a regular thing. Like, we knew when we went outside, you was going to get talked about.
Right.
By the age of 8, I didn't cry. Look, I've cried so much. And I just remember sticks and stones will break my bones with words and never. That didn't really work. I remember they used to tell me, you never heard of that?
Yeah, I said you a nerd.
But it never worked for me. That was like, but the words still hurt. They hurt. But then if you hear them enough,
you start to believe it.
No. Like, they don't hurt as much. Because it's like, okay, these are jokes, but you don't understand how much it plays a role. Now, I was embarrassed to be in Korean until I graduated from college.
I mean, we never knew.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
we never knew.
Like,
that
as a kid, you don't know what you're creating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just think this is a part of life.
Right.
And I was just like, I was just thinking about the different people I just attacked because of whether they was really light skinned or they were brown skinned people didn't get. I had to talk about their teeth or something like that. But if you was real light, or it was so many jokes I heard, it was easy to hurt people's feelings or try to.
Right.
You know, and like, we supposed to be on the same team, but we not even treating each other like we on the same team.
But we don't know. We don't know. Well, we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know. Like, we didn't know the playbook. We didn't know what uniform we was wearing that day. We didn't even know what field or pitch we were supposed to show up to, or where the court was. Like, we didn't know. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say we didn't know is because you made a good point. When you talk about the children not knowing what they were creating, they didn't create anything. It came from the parents. Came from the parents and the other elders that were around them.
Yeah.
And why did it come from them? Because they didn't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
And it was like, it was an event. If we go back to where I was talking about, like, the yo mama jokes or whatever, look, I love a good joke. I can take a good joke. It's not a problem for me, right? But understanding where something comes from is way different than being caught up in it and using it or misusing it to a point where you're gonna hurt your own people or yourself. That's a huge. Go ahead.
No, I wanted you to finish. Go ahead. So what I was getting when you said that, I was just like, I have a problem with people I was like, you know where that come from? Or, you shouldn't say that. And they was like, man, it's just a joke. And ignorance is bliss. It's easier to just keep doing that stuff if you don't want to know the truth because you feel like it's going to take something from you.
Right.
Instead of building, we feel like, you know what, I don't care about the truth. Because I have a group where different people are looking at the N-word. Some people use it. Some people don't use it. Some people say, I only use it to let people, whoever's around me, to know I'm talking for real now, because that will get their attention because they know I don't use it. So if they hear that word, the people around them say, okay, he's serious. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, or a term of endearment. And everybody's having this this like
different definition.
Yeah, but people want to get better, but they want to get better the way they want it to look like. I have used the word on numerous occasions, but as I've gotten older and the position I want to reflect, I don't want to use the word. Because even though I know it doesn't come from that position, right, people watching me to think it's regular. And it can't be normalized until we set the example and say, we don't use the word because it's not acceptable.
Right.
Like Dr. Boyce said, Kwame Brown said, if a white person was calling me the N-word, they would be removed from YouTube. Why they leaving me up here still? Because they don't mind me talking about another black man.
Right.
Double standards. And I was like, wow, we make it okay, but white people like, let them keep doing that. They don't know what's going on. And I'm like, until it gets out, like, you are the example that the next generation is watching.
Exactly.
I don't care how you view it, but you're creating a specific belief system that this is okay.
Well, they're making it the norm. And I'm going to tell you where it hurts most. It's not even inside the U.S. with our 14% African-American population. It's outside, because there's more black people outside of the USA than there are inside of the USA. Definitely. And when they hear the music, when they see the movies, when, you know what I'm saying? When they read in the scripts or whatever, watching the TV shows, they think it's the norm. So when us 14%, ones with passports, show up in other countries and we're greeted by this, or we're hearing this is a common word, and if we do say something, and I will raise my hand because I have been the one to say something, when we do say something, it's greeted with a, what are you talking about? It doesn't, like, it's whatever, like, and you rap, so like it's in rap music, so like what's the problem? But they don't understand.
They don't.
And I'm not going to say all of them don't understand, because I don't want to speak about other black people like they are ignorant across the globe.
Well, the N-word was only used for Western African Americans.
But what I mean is, but what I mean is when I say like they don't understand is like, a black person from the USA is going to understand why I might respond to and be like, don't call me that, or don't use that word.
They're completely oblivious to why.
Not all, but the ones that are probably looking at it like, what are you talking about? Like Jay-Z uses it in every song. Like I heard J. Cole say it. I heard this person say it. Like they're black. Like what's your problem? Like we don't, you get what I'm saying? Like they don't get it from that. You got to
be willing to break that down for them to understand.
Right. So it's, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I liken it to when we're talking about the words that are being used, right, and people becoming used to it and whatnot. I liken that to me and how I use how I write my songs, because okay, in conversation, in podcasts or whatever, you'll hear me curse, but in my music, I don't, and it's just one of those things where it's just like I didn't make it the norm, and I think that what's happening is when white people, for example, are not saying something and they're just letting it go, letting it be on YouTube, letting it be on Facebook, letting the cops say it and the videos play over and over and over and over again, right? It's becoming the norm. Mm-hmm. And they know that there are more black people outside of the USA. See what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't think they're that calculated. You give them too much credit.
Okay.
Listen,
hey, bro, I go by what I see. Even though I may not want to give such credit, I'm looking at the end results.
I know. So to me, I think that black people look into the history a little more than white people. Mm. So black person looking like, okay, this, and this happened, and this is what occurred. We can see what can happen, but if you're not white, it's not that important to you. So I don't think they intentionally do it. But
you think they looked up and just got it? They just looked up and it was like, yeah, they just really.
Yeah, you can't possibly think they're that smart.
I mean, I'm not gonna use that word, but
you're not gonna use what word?
Smart.
Well, if you're a part of a group of people and you believe in survival of the fittest, wouldn't you say, okay, this is the right way?
I mean, I wouldn't just give them the word smart, because just because the end result looks like you are successful or that you've had success, how you got there doesn't have to do with smart.
Survival of the fittest.
But the intent behind it could have been that.
Yeah.
Somebody could be playing the stock market and being like, I just want to be richer than every black person I ever met. And then they play a certain stock and it goes up and now they're rich. They weren't smart about it.
There you go with these extremes.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, you can't.
Well, there's way more poor white people than than black people. Period.
I mean, I believe, yeah.
No, I'm saying just the population.
Right.
But with this thing that we're talking about, regardless of what color you are, they like, I don't care how poor I am, I ain't black.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, like it was like, you know what? No matter how much money you make, you could never be better, and that's the mentality that they have.
Okay, well, this is what I mean though. When I say it's not by accident, right? And I hear you when you like you don't want to give them that much credit. But let's go back to South Africa, right? And we're looking at this colorism thing. South Africa's whole government was set up to, and it's what I would say is a divide and conquer. They knew, right, that there was going to be more colored people than white people in South Africa, right? This government did not want that to happen. So what they did was, I mean, because it's just like the USA. You know the USA is going to be more brown, right? Eventually, right? It's going to be more brown. This is what government is afraid of right now. This is why certain people...
You think they're afraid of that?
Hell yeah, they're afraid. This is why they're going around and they're counting, for example, Mexicans as white. And when they're doing these censuses, is that right? Is that correct? Census, the plural, when they conduct the census, there we go. This is what they're doing, right? So South Africa, for example, this is like, it was a divide and conquer. So they knew they were going to have oh God, I can't think of all the names, bro. But it's like I want to get it. I want to find it. But for example, the white
Zulu,
Zulu? No.
Zulu's in South Africa.
Yeah, but no, not that. Hang on a second. I'm gonna be able to tell you in just a minute. I just want to make sure I get the word. I just want to make sure I get the word in right.
I can dig it.
But okay, like so, when they have like, there's a difference between a black African impregnating an Indian versus a black African impregnating an Asian person. A black African impregnating someone else who is maybe like a mulatto, right? This creates a whole other class.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Brazil was the same way. This creates a whole other class. You get what I mean? And in that, they are divided. So they've taken the people of color and divided them amongst themselves to keep the white group the majority.
Well,
so if you tell me, with all due respect, like it's not the strategy. Apartheid is finished, but this is still something that exists.
Well, it like because it was already created. So apartheid started because of the United States,
but the law came in. I'm not even getting that. But I'm just talking about the existence of and what's coming from it, and that doesn't surprise me at all. But go ahead, yeah.
No, I was just saying that it came from the United States. They wanted to create a system that was better than what the United States was having. So when they created it, like people were getting mistreated, and a lot of things happened where it had to stop. Where it was the 92, 91, 92 was the end of apartheid.
When it ended.
Yeah. So I'm saying like they really thought that that's what they were supposed to do. So if you're white, do you think that's wrong?
But that, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 2021.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's still there.
Yeah, like because that was real.
It affects where you live. It affects the type of jobs that you can get.
White people on that short end of the stick though, in South Africa.
It's that part is starting to change. We can't mix the two. When we look at the government, you're 100% correct. The government now, they are trying to make sure that they keep all of the work there in South Africa. I don't want to get off of the colorism, but the government is trying to make sure of that.
That was pretty good.
I know that for firsthand. When we're talking about the people is different. The way that the society is amongst the people, but there are certain things like the government will not say, like you and I have a company. We want to do we want to bring Miancore Productions over to South Africa. We can go. But we'll have to hire so many black South Africans in the company. We have to do this, and then we might only be able to be there for a certain period of time. Or maybe I'm the only one that's able to be there. You can only come for like 2 years, and then you got to go back. And then everybody else that's employed has to be of the country. This is the government side.
I know that's...
But the people side, they're still doing the same thing they was doing before. The divide is still there, brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So with the government changing...
Right.
I feel like you have to still wait because there's still remnants from the other BS. I believe South Africa will become a better country with color, dealing with color, than the United States will, because we won't even like acknowledge it.
Yeah, because they're going to be speaking Chinese.
You
know what's happening, and that's I don't want to. But you know what I mean. Like they have Chinese in the schools as far as like the languages.
Chinese is
and
here,
they've removed certain things like what's the language? I
know what you're talking about.
The native tongue there has been removed from a lot of the schools, and a lot of the schools have Chinese in it now. Why? You know what they're doing? They're buying up. They're bringing businesses. They're buying out.
I know, but but see, this is the thing. When I hear you say that, and I'm going to stay on it. Like, are you saying that what they're doing is wrong? Or when I say that, because in my mind, when I hear people say, they buying up Africa or whatnot, but they're providing work for these people. It's not like a white colonization type thing. It's, to me, because
it's the new age version of it.
But I'm saying if the number of Chinese don't increase dramatically, like to me, what I've seen, that they have done it, but it's to help the economy. They get a certain portion of whatever, but it's not like to put Chinese people so they can take over. That's from what
I don't think that's what it is. I mean, I look at it like a really bad relationship. When you have let's just say a manipulating man that comes into a relationship, he's not going to meet the woman on the very first date and go upside her head. Nah.
So he's
going to emotionally break her down.
Where did you get that feeling from, though?
What's that?
Why do you feel that way?
I know.
Where have you seen this before? With who?
All over the world.
Only with white people.
Yeah, colonizers.
That's what I'm saying. You're comparing other ethnic groups to white people, saying this is what they do.
Yeah, but this is technically what they're doing right now. They're doing this in Jamaica. They're doing this in South America.
No. I think I'm being missed. Okay. My point is that you are now alienating an entire group of people because you said this looks like what white people did.
Okay, fair. I am saying what it looks like, but it don't smell good.
Why?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Why doesn't it smell good?
Because of what we're familiar with?
I know, but this doesn't look the same to me.
Okay, but I put it like this. It doesn't look the same to you, but if I've been in a relationship and I've noticed certain things that look like some things from before, red flags. It's like, wait, what's this? Hang on, what's that? I've seen this before. I can only react to what's presented to me and the experiences that I've had, right? So I'm just going off of the way that it looks to me. I'm not saying that I'm right.
We're conversing.
I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying this is what it looks like.
I'm trying to give a benefit of a doubt.
But I'm just saying, like, this is what it's like. I mean, but we all do this, right? And a relationship is probably one of the best examples that we could look at with that. If you know what a battered woman in a relationship looks like, or battered man, right? And you're having dinner with that couple, right? And you see certain things, you be like, hey, you know what I mean? Did you see the way he grabbed her like that when they was getting ready to go to the thing? I'm not saying that you're right. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing, but we all recognize things that we're familiar with.
But what are you recognizing though? Because this relationship to me,
it looks like a moderate slide in takeover. It looks like.
How about this? Chinese has been in Jamaica for over 50 years.
Long time.
So I'm trying to figure out, when are they supposed to take over?
I mean,
no, I'm just saying hypothetically.
I don't know how long they've been there.
No, I'm telling you. Look, check this out. You can look up Chinese Jamaicans on.
Yeah, now this I know.
So this is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like China's been in Jamaica for a long time.
Right.
So I'm saying that we have trauma from how white people did us. Like, they slid in and took over people's governments, right? Well, but how many governments have Chinese people taken over out of anything that they've done?
See, this is the thing though. Things are done in a different way today. It's not so much about a takeover. It's not so much about. So what
does it look like then?
Hang on. It's not so much about tanks and going to war. You know what I mean? It's more about ownership, owning land, owning the resources or the access to the resources. You have an African nation that is in one place and they have diamonds there. They don't have the technology. They don't have the personnel. Maybe they don't have the knowledge to actually get in there and get those out in a proper fashion or quickly. And you have another nation that is quite technologically advanced and they're able to do it. And they say, hey, listen, how about we just come in and we just buy this from you and we'll bring in these tractors and we'll bring in these bulldozers and we'll bring in these cranes and we'll give you this much money and we'll employ some of your people. We'll bring some people over here to manage it and whatnot and this and this. You don't know what's happening after they go under the ground. You don't know what they're taking, what percentages are not being done or whatever, because you didn't even have the resources to be able to handle that from the jump. So it looks different nowadays. Why do you think we going to war?
I
mean, we're getting over the colorism thing, but why you,
I want to come back to it.
But why do you think we going to war? We're going to war for resources. Nobody's going to war over color. Nobody.
Color's the distraction.
But I'm just saying, nobody is going to Afghanistan for color. Nobody is going to Iraq for color.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Or because the sun is great there and they can get a wonderful tan. Nobody's doing that. They're going for resources. So it looks different. It doesn't look like white people on boats. Nina Pinta to Santa Maria coming over and
do we have any history that shows that these other groups of people have done this before? My point is,
I'm just saying war looks different.
Oh, I get it.
I'm making moves internationally looks different. Taking over looks different. And we can't dismiss that. We don't know. If we knew the future, we'd be able to prevent it right now.
No, you're trying to prevent something that you think is supposed to turn bad.
All I'm saying is what it looks like.
I don't look like to me. It don't look like to me.
But this is what it may not be. It may not be a takeover. It may not be let's put 500,000 Chinese people in this particular country and let's just take over. It may not be that. You get what I'm saying?
I got that.
It may not look like that. The takeover may be of the resources.
What if Chinese people are literally just trying to help a country out?
Then they are. And then my assumption is wrong. And,
I know, but that's
it's okay.
So this is what I'm saying. The colorism aspect to me plays a role because Chinese plays a significant role with me. Okay. My grandfather was half Chinese. Okay. So when I hear that and I'm like, now if it's happened, I just want you to know, like, I'm team black. You know what I'm saying? Like I want us to help, but to alienate a group of people to me that possibly could just be doing the right thing. Like, I don't think we have, that's where the separation comes in. That's why the colorism aspect, it's a distraction. Like there's different like even within Chinese people or Korean people, there's different shades.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So, but white is always right, regardless. So everybody's Korean in the room, but the lightest person is going to be looked at differently.
Okay, let me ask you this. What do you think the motive is to come into a country
to help?
To come into a country and you have nothing there. It's not a direct link to your heritage or where you're from. Why do you need to remove one of their native tongues out of their school as far as the language being taught and insert yours?
Who does that? Who did that?
This happens. This with China and South Africa. Facts.
No, time out. It's facts. No, but what you're saying is not a fact.
But yes, it is.
No, I didn't know. I guess
I know somebody that went to the school.
It's a misunderstanding what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Chinese did not implement Chinese language in another country. Another country decided to do that to be able to build relationships. That's it.
Hey, listen. All I know is if you're coming into my home to help me, then do some things that's going to help me and my people directly first.
So what makes you think that's not happening?
I'm just telling you what it looks like to me. My perception is my perception.
I get it, brother, but we supposed to be.
What I can't do is I can't jump in and perceive it the way that you perceive it based off of the people that I know from South Africa that live there, that have been living there, that have left here and gone back to there, and the stories that they've told me about their schools and their businesses, and black people from America that I know that tried to open businesses over there, and what they've told me about the government and how things work. I'm going off of their accounts, things that I have actually seen, and things that I've heard based on all of that first account experiences. And I'm taking all of that. And then I'm like, this is my perception. You see it from a whole nother direction, and that's okay.
Oh, no. Look, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just wondering.
And I'm not saying that I'm right either. I'm just saying that based off what I've seen and based off what I've heard and based off those experiences, I'm looking at it like, damn, that looks a lot like. And that's just I
know, like, so I don't want you to like, so I feel like I can get how it could be the evolved, what it used to be.
Like,
so I don't
like slavery evolved in various countries. And
so I want you to know, I understand.
Right.
But I'm trying to figure out But you just said it because of your relationships that you have with people that is closely tied to the country.
Right.
Totally get that. You know, I have relationships too, but these people haven't said the things that you said. So I'm like, why is he getting this? Because
South Africa is big.
Yeah.
Their experiences are different. They're dealing with different things.
Yeah, but I was just trying to figure out what I mean? Like, where it was coming from. Like when you said that, I have more information now.
Right.
Like, because I'm thinking like you're looking at it just like I'm looking at it.
Just comparing it to other. No. Yeah. If I didn't know those firsthand things, I wouldn't have said anything about it. I would have just mentioned about how this is going on and whatever. But I'm going off of people that were actually there, that are South African, that were trying to work there, and the things where they're saying off of their experiences. I was actually supposed to go work in South Africa, by the way. So that's where my tie comes in.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm just like, and that was shut down due to some of these things. And it was like, holy shit, what? And so a lot of things were explained to me, and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy.
So how does the colorism impact, like hypothetically,
right?
China's not going anywhere.
Right.
So there's going to be a bunch of African Asian babies.
Yeah.
How does that play a role in the evolution of the colorism?
I just think that it's going to come to a point where we're all going to be some shade of brown here in the next couple of decades. That's what's going to happen.
Decades?
Right.
No, it's got to be longer than that. All white people ain't gonna go out like that.
I'm not saying all. I'm talking about the majority.
Oh,
like I think in a couple of decades, 20 years.
Yeah,
20 years. Hey,
there's some white people.
Look, if we have another COVID, there's gonna be a lot of babies popping out.
But I'm talking about Europe, like Europe.
Yeah,
like like Poland,
but what
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, I'm not
Slovakia.
But
I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is, I just think that colorism is just gonna evolve.
Yeah.
It's going to evolve into something else, right? I think that, for example, if everybody was black, I think that there will be some type of natural separation amongst the people. You know what I mean? I think it's no different than if I go to an event, say it's a dinner party or whatever, and it's just like an open floor, and you walk in and everybody is there, and it's like a high school dance type of thing, just the open gymnasium, and you just see people, you'll probably wonder too, groups that look like you, that favor you. It's just a natural thing. Right. So I think that if all of us were black, the whole world, obviously we're going to be different shades of black. I think that there will be a natural lean towards this or that. And those leans are going to be based on a lot of things. It's going to be based on, I'm familiar with this. Oh, you look like somebody I know. I'm just curious what the hell you are. It's just going to be a whole lot of, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that colorism is going to evolve with the way that the population is going to be shaped.
So do you think that possibly it'll get better?
I think that the way that our children are today and their openness, especially when it comes to sexuality and things of this nature, it seems like, yes. I would say that it seems like yes. I don't think that people are as closed-minded. And truth be told, man, we just got to have all the old heads that don't want to change their mind die off.
That's exactly
that's pretty much what it is. We just got that stuff got to go.
Mm-hmm.
And for the record, I was not bashing at China or whatever.
I didn't think you were.
No, it's nothing like that. It's just I'm just going off of what I'm saying. And I would say the same thing about my country. So let's say that real quick. I would say the same thing about the US. It's we do. Okay, in some areas we do butt our nose into a lot of other people's business. But I will say on the flip side of that, in defense, a lot of people ask for certain help.
That's what I was saying about the Chinese aspect.
Okay, or there's certain agreements that have already been put in place. And the people don't know this information.
That's the way I was listening to you.
Okay. And so the people don't know this information.
You said that perfectly.
Okay. And then they look at it. So they'd be like, for example, let's just say America is in country X. And everybody watching the news why is America over there again? Well, they don't understand that 32 years ago, there was a certain treaty that was done. And there was a certain agreement that was made. And based on that, that is why they are there. For example, I'm not saying that that's always the case, but this is something that does happen on an international level, right? It's called international relations. So y'all might want to look into that. So
that's exactly how I was looking at it with China.
Right. Okay. Fair.
So I just couldn't put in the words like you were able to do it.
Okay. But I also think that there are people who are living there. I can actually say I know they perceive it differently. You know what I'm saying? They
I'm not saying that, yeah.
But you know what I mean? They look at it thinking like, oh, I wanted my child to go to this particular school and they learn this native tongue and this and this. I can't even get them to do that. Now I'm trying to switch them to another school because I really want this to be a part of my child's life. Yeah, we're going to do it at home, but I'd love to have this in their curriculum as well. And now we can't do that because these people have come in and they've changed the curriculum and they've done this or whatever. For whatever reason they changed it, curriculum was changed. You get what I'm saying? And this is something that I know about that's there. And this is the way that
when I think of, to me, that's a plus. Like there's only a few languages you should know, like dealing with the business world. That's English, Mandarin, Arabic, and
Japanese.
Nope, that's it. And the reason why I say that because those are the most people speak those languages.
But you can't tell people.
No, I can't tell anybody. But I'm saying as far if you're working on the future and you see China's about to be the #1 country in the world. So wouldn't you want to?
What I'm saying is if I'm a South African man.
Oh yeah,
I want to make sure that the heritage and the traditions are passed down. I could pretty much give a fuck less about China or any of those other countries.
But the government is thinking that way.
Right. The government is, but I'm talking about a man raising my family.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Because I'm going to tell you this and we can cut it. But the biggest thing about that is we've already been disconnected from our history and our heritage.
Period.
This is why we are the way we are today. We don't know.
We don't.
When somebody asks me where I'm from and I say the United States, and I get the where you're from, sometimes I feel like just saying that when they're like, where are you from? I'm like, actually, somebody asked me today. Because we had the mask on. He said, he came, he said, hi, sir, how are you? We were both in the HR area. He said, how's it? How are you? I'm good. He says, oh, what's your name? I told him. And he was like, oh. He said, where are you from? Oh, no, he said, no, I told him, I said, my name's Naeem. He says, oh, okay. He says, and he can't see my face. He says, where are you from? He says, South Africa? I said, no, I'm American. He was like, really? He was like you're American? I said, well, my family's been there about 402 years. So yeah. And that was it. I just left it. But you know what I mean? It was we joked. We talked after. I wasn't being an ass to him, but it was just
But you do look like you could be from South Africa though, because of the skin color.
He is John D. He is John D. I'm Omega, and this is Diverse Clarity. This is where we have those thought-provoking conversations about things that matter and some that don't. Catch you next episode.
Boom.